You know, we continue to cover the impacts of Hurricane Helene, especially out of western North Carolina. Among the hardest hit areas was Burnsville. It's just to the northeast of Asheville, and that's where the Wiebe family experienced an unimaginable loss.
A lot of stories coming out of here. 4 members of their family were swept away by the South Toe River when it rose to historic levels, destroying their home. After weeks of searching, 2 of their family members have been found tragically deceased, while 2 remain missing. And the Wiebes, they have a remarkable story. They were in the U.S. after fleeing their home in Ukraine. They escaped the Russian invasion in 2022, taking on a long and difficult journey through Europe before finally settling in Burnsville. That's where they started a new life, finding work, contributing to their community. But their dreams, they were shattered by this disaster.
Ricky Wiebe is speaking on the family's behalf and joins us today on Weather Command to share the family's story. And I first want just to offer our condolences. It is so truly heartbreaking, and we appreciate you sharing this story with so many of our viewers. Ricky, to clarify, it is your brother's wife who lost her sister, her parents, and her nephew. And because the grief is just so fresh, you are speaking on their behalf today. I do want to start with those search and recovery efforts for 2 family members, one of whom we know is just 13 years old.
Yes, thank you. Yesterday, I did speak to the search and rescue team that was able to find the husband and wife. And it was great to hear from them and all the heroics and what they had to do to find 2 of our family members. They had to put their life on the line to get to them, and they did it for free, out of the kindness, out of their heart. And our other 2 family members are still missing, and unfortunately it seems like the search and rescue is winding down, because it's been so long already. It's going on 3 weeks now.
Ricky, your brother's wife, Anna, her sister, Anastasia, and her family, they came here to the U.S. We had mentioned at the beginning, they escaped the war in Ukraine. Wondering their story, how they ended up deciding to settle in Burnsville, and what the community meant to them.
They were so happy when they got here. They finally made it, and they embraced their daughter and my brother and their children. And they escaped a terrible situation, and they lived in joy and peace and happiness for about 2 years. And the river took them away.
So many families sharing the same stories, and to your point, we know 90 people are still missing, maybe a little bit more than that, and you need that closure. You just do, in order for your grief to continue on. When we talk about that day that the mudslides were taken over, and it was more like an avalanche of water and mud coming at these homes, what do you know what was going on? I mean, it was a tough moment where people didn't really know it was going to be that bad that quickly. For them, were they preparing for anything at all? Were they just kind of living another day?
Yeah, from all the reports I heard and the firsthand account from my brother and wife and his children, they only expected like 12 inches of rain, and it went to at least 30 inches of rain, and it happened so fast. My brother was in his house, and the water was up to his knees before he knew it, and he was shocked. He said he just didn't know what to do. He couldn't believe it. We've been through floods there. This was not a flood. A flood is a nice word. This was a raging, out of control monster of a river that rose 100 feet and ate trailers and trash trucks and homes and just turned them into scrap metal.
I have such a hard time grappling with the idea that the family escaped Ukraine when Russia invaded the country. And when they come to the States and they're settling into the Appalachians, a beautiful range in the eastern U.S., You look at a river like the South Toe, and from my understanding, the river meant something to them. There was a source of tranquility and almost joy. I mean, can you speak to that for a minute? Because I imagine a new landscape, new scenes. It's brand new for this family, and they're just trying to adjust. And there was a peace there.
Yeah, we grew up on the river. You know, it was our joy. We'd fish there. We'd go tubing there. We'd go in the rapids. And you know, we put their trailer right next to the river because it is a beautiful spot where their home was. And, you know, you can listen to the river when you go to sleep, and it's a lovely thing. But unfortunately, now this river has totally ripped up the landscape, and it doesn't look like it once did before. And, you know, my brother is scared of the river, but for what it's done and the power that it can have now.
You know, as actually I come from a family of war refugees, and can relating to the part of you try to find that sanctuary and that safe spot for your family. Mm-hmm. And again, a 13-year-old boy still missing. It's just so unsettling and heartbreaking. And I know at this point it's just really hard to move on, because searching for that closure, in addition to trying to recover them out of this. For your family, is there any way if people want to help? Is there, we've seen a lot of GoFundMes for families. I don't know if they're going to try to rebuild and go back, because it seems like there's a lot of trauma associated now with this property, but anything that folks can do.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles away from my brother, and I didn't speak to him for over 2 weeks. He didn't have cell service, and I didn't know what to do. And when I first was able to get in contact with him on the phone, he was at the Burnsville funeral location and identifying bodies. So I talked to him, and I had to do something. So with his help, I put together the GoFundMe. And if anyone can go there to make any donation that you possibly can, I know times are tough for everyone. I really appreciate it. And the goal is to rebuild. We have more property higher up, and the water will never touch us there. But of course, we're going to have to come to peace with the river.
That's the biggest thing. And especially, as you had mentioned, Ricky, how it's associated with those core memories, that it meant so much to your family, and a lot of grief to work through, understandably so. And we know it's still very fresh. So we appreciate all the insight. We put up the GoFundMe, so if people feel inclined, they'll be able to donate.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, certainly the case. Ricky Wiebe there, losing his extended family, his brother marrying Anna's sister, as well as son and her parents.
And so many of us want to feel connected and feel like we can help families such as Ricky's, because when the pain is that raw, it's really hard to just exist and to function, and you can't go to work, and you're trying to rebuild. So we want to help, right? So we put up their GoFundMe page. And also, if you want to help with the Red Cross, that's another way that it's a reputable organization that is accepting money, and it will go to families like the Wiebes that are dealing with very real, unimaginable grief. So we'll leave that up for you. And Weather Command, we'll be right back.